This is Capital City with Capital J.
I hate to say it, but a lot of artists in North Carolina have gotten into the position they're supposed to be in and then take that next step. With me and Cap over the years, like we've been on the radio, we've been through a lot of artists who've actually gotten into these offices and signed deals, but then nothing happens after that.
This is Capital City with Capital J.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's Capital City. I'm your host, Capital J, alongside my main man, DL.
What's up?
Today, as we promised a few weeks ago, we said we're going to bring back the conversation about North Carolina artists. In particular, we're talking about hip-hop, because we finished a conversation the other day, and you asked me a question. You remember the question was?
It was a couple of, the one about who was next.
Who is next?
Right.
And at the time, it's like, well, after the baby, who is there? And I was having trouble. I saw people in my head, couldn't think of names. I'm like, maybe we don't have a next up right now. So I reached out.
Was it that, or it's just so much talent that you didn't want to?
Well, see, here's the thing. When you said next,
right,
next implies that this person is getting ready to change something. So
yeah.
There's a whole lot of people that rap, a whole lot of people that made videos.
Right.
But
well, looking at it that way,
I'm trying to figure out who's really next. Like, everybody doing this ain't gonna be the baby.
Absolutely not.
You know what I'm saying? But you don't have to.
The world can afford two of them.
But we're looking at, like, stunning for Vegas at minimum. You know what I mean? So we want you to be on the radar when we say next. Not just some dude that, there's a whole lot of some dudes right now.
Right.
So
shout out to him, though.
Right. So I reached out to my homeboy, JFlex. And I got him on the telephone.
Okay.
And I said, hey, man, because I know he keeps up with this part of the game a lot more than I do.
Okay.
He's still actively on the radio.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So, and he's doing it in the area.
Right.
So
like,
without further ado, right.
It stumped me when I found out. I didn't mean to cut you off, but when he said the time that he's been in radio, and it was similar. I asked him a similar question that I asked you when I realized how long you were working in radio, which was, you saw the change.
Yeah, what'd he say?
Ask him.
Hey, well, right about now, I got JFlex on the line. Give him some applause.
Man.
What up?
JFlex.
Yo.
Man,
tell the people who you are. Who is JFlex?
I'm mix show coordinator and lead DJ at 102 Jams in Greensboro. Been doing this DJ thing for over half my life. Seen a lot of things change in hip hop since the early days to now.
Right on. And we reached out to this brother to help us fill in some gaps.
Right. And just given the time span that you've been in radio.
The time span I've been in radio?
Yes.
Oh, from the early 90s to now, to the present.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
So we got somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Absolutely. Qualified. Certified.
Okay. So what we getting into today, Fleas? I call him Fleas. That's Jay Fleazy for short. That's just something. You don't call him Fleas.
No.
I know him a long time. I call him Fleas.
I asked him as soon as you left out. I asked him. I asked,
Nah, he's JFlex to you, sir.
I'm respectful.
But
yeah, me and Cap met way before radio days. Like, we were just two DJs in the street.
Hey, yep. Selling mixtapes.
Wow.
Now, I reached out to Flex. Flex, what we want to dig deeper in today is, we're trying to figure out who's next here in North Carolina. And when you're actively on the radio, you're in touch with these people. You see who's putting the music out. I know they trying to get at you to make sure it's getting played. So, who do you see that we need to be taking notice of after the baby?
Well, you got my girl Amani Caesar.
That's the name I could not remember the other day, DL.
Right.
Chick from Greensboro. I could not think of her name.
She's down with the Griselda camp. So
Ooh.
you'll see her around Conway, Benny the Butcher, and all them. She just released a project called The Liz a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
She has a single out, produced by DJ Premier and featuring Benny the Butcher.
Oh, wow. She got names associated with. Where's she from?
Yeah. She's originally from Buffalo, but she been in North Carolina for a long time. And
Okay.
I think
Spitter.
she stays in Charlotte now.
Okay. Was she in Greensboro at some point? It seems like I remember her in the Greensboro
She used
area.
to be up here a lot. Like, I know she used to be up here a lot. And I used to see her, used to talk to her. But I know I think she moved to Charlotte or stays in Charlotte now. She also has a clothing line that she's repping, that she has of her own. That's pretty dope.
Cool.
But she raps for real.
Yeah, she's somebody that you could say is really out there already.
He said Premier.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Benny the Butcher, Premier. She's you know, she's
she
fairly
could spit.
certified. So she should have been mentioned the first time we were talking. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Right.
So, you know, all apologies. Amani Caesar should have been mentioned the first go round. Now, Fleas, we were talking about the success of the baby. And you know who Arnold Taylor is.
Yeah, South Coast Music Group.
Right. And I was telling DL that so much of the baby's success, man, is tied into the hard work of Arnold Taylor. And people don't know this. And, you know, we had a discussion about how North Carolina hadn't produced a movement, even though we produced hit singles and artists, but we haven't produced a movement yet. Do you see a movement?
No, I think he's definitely working on one. I think he's positioning his guys right. He did everything right about the baby. The baby's doing everything right, and then the baby also has under the baby you got Son of Vegas, and you got he also has another artist. I think his name is it Turk? Oh, I'll tell you right now. Hold on. No, Dunk. Rich Dunk. Yes, Rich Dunk. He's also from Charlotte. And then so they're under $1 billion baby entertainment.
So the baby
then
has
you
an
have-
imprint.
He has his own imprint.
Okay.
And then Arnold also has a few new artists that he's releasing. He has a girl named Big Molly. I think she's from Charlotte, I believe. And then he has a girl named Tia Corinne. She's from Winston. And I know he has an artist from South Carolina, Black Zach. So Arnold's working. And he also has an artist named Kusi, who's currently out and has a new single featuring Summer Walker.
Dope.
He's on the I think he's on the R&B side, though, I believe. Too. Well, he raps too, though. But
Wow.
I think he does both. I believe he does both.
It sounds like it's still money in music.
So I know they have that going on in Charlotte, and you also have an artist in Charlotte named Luke that I like. I don't know if he's signed to any imprint right now, but he has a new single out that I like a lot.
And this is the guy from Dreamville.
He was on the Dreamville album on the song called Under the Sun featuring J. Cole and the Baby. He's actually the dude in the middle.
It's a dope
and
track.
he got a song called Light.
Right.
It's pretty dope right now.
Right. So if the baby gets his imprint going, and we know that Ninth Wonder has been, you know, he's been working with a lot of artists in the area, and they put a compilation out, Jam Lock compilation. But, you know, when you talk about next, you know, we already mentioned Rhapsody. So, you know, he got one there. You know?
Right.
You know, each group to have a successful imprint, somebody has to lead the way.
Absolutely.
So, you know, she's obviously leading the way over there. You got the baby leading the way, but I'm waiting to see is there anybody else that can duplicate the success of these lead artists though?
Hopefully with the corona, like corona's hurting a lot of things right now with the COVID. People not being able to move like they normally move. But I think it's a lot of talent. Hopefully they get their shine and everything can move the way I want it to move.
Yeah, I hadn't thought
The
about
North
the
Carolina
impact.
bench should have got a shine though.
Yeah. Why you think it hasn't?
I hate to say it, but a lot of artists in North Carolina have gotten into the position they're supposed to be in, and then take that next step. With me and Cap over the years, like we've been on the radio, we've been through a lot of artists who've actually gotten into these offices and signed deals, but then nothing happens after that.
Yeah.
So
The biggest, most tragic example of nothing happening for me was Brandon D's run. He cat from Greensboro. We watched him work. We watched him grow up. He was a great MC. He put this record out called
Cackalack.
The Cack Joint. That was the name of it.
Yep.
Okay.
And I played it one day, and a record rep from Elektra was riding through the market.
Mm-hmm.
And he happened to have my number. He's like, yo, Cap, who is that?
Right.
And I was like, this guy named Brandon D, man. He's dope.
I
He
can tell you
got
who the
a lot
record
of-
rep was.
Who was it?
Court Digger.
It was Court Digger.
Court Digger got Brandon D signed.
Oh, wow. So Court Digger's riding through the area, probably headed down 85.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the song. I tell him who it is. Link them up. He gets signed to Elektra. Unfortunately, it's like the last dude signed to Elektra and they folded.
Shit.
I know it sucked because I think something was getting ready to happen with that, Fleas. What you think?
I think if he got the opportunity to really do something, maybe. But they really didn't get a chance to even push that single the way they wanted to.
Nope.
It was big around here, but that was it.
Yeah. But yeah, that has happened to a few people. We've had a lot of people get there and have something that I think is extremely viable. Like I remember Omniscience being out there. That's another name that you probably, we haven't discussed Omniscience yet.
Right.
Great
This
MC.
was signed to East or West.
Yep. Had a record deal. And he had a song. Was the name of that song Amazing, the one that had the live joint that I used to play?
I believe so.
Oh, man. The single was good, but they put out a sampler, and it was his live performance of that song.
Mm-hmm.
It was,
Crazy.
man, it was one of my favorite joints ever. And,
What was the vibe?
It was a party joint.
Okay.
It just felt good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not comparing him to Jadakiss, but he had that type of presence on the mic.
Right.
That feel about right to you, Fleas?
Nah, this was super dope.
Yeah. Super
He was
dope.
a true MC.
Yeah.
True MC.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. And, he's another guy. Record deal. Everything's there. But, things just don't go as far as you would think.
Like, what do you mean? like,
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I really have no idea. I'm pretty sure he's somebody we could get on the show one day.
Yeah.
He's from North Carolina,
Like,
and we can talk to him about that. He's somebody who we could talk to firsthand and find out why things go sideways for whatever reason.
Right.
Because it wasn't his talent.
Okay. Okay.
I've never really asked any of the guys what happened.
I didn't
deal.
either because you don't want to even go there. You just proud of them when it happened, and when it don't work out, you leave it alone.
It's research.
I think I know Small World and Brolic from North Cac. Is that they signed with DTP,
Right.
and Then they split up. Brock and Small World got like solo joints, and Small World did put out like a couple singles, but I don't think they moved enough, and his budget might got burnt up. But Small World was super dope. I love Small World. And Brolic, I don't know if he ever moved a single on DTP, but I know he was still doing his music thing recently. As a couple years ago, I talked to him.
What about one of my favorite MCs ever? Showdown.
Showdown.
Hey, he had a record deal. Yeah. Like, I found out who Showdown was, not because, now, mind you, this dude stayed a block away from me. Did not know that.
Right.
Got the record, though. It's dope.
Yeah.
And it was actually out. You could go in the record store and buy it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And man.
I wish he wasn't on the label he was on.
Yeah.
It was opportunity.
Yeah, it was opportunity. And the song was dope.
Yes, it's just the people behind it weren't big enough to make it move with commercial success. But Showdown's super talented. Still super talented to this day. He doesn't want to rap anymore, but if he wanted to, he could.
Yes, indeed.
But his ear for production is still super dope. He got a TV series now you can catch on Amazon called 85 Central.
Oh, okay.
That's his show.
I heard about that. Yeah.
So he's doing moves with that, trying to get into the TV lane. He always try to get me up there, but I told him I'm no actor, so I'm not gonna get up there. But big up the Showdown.
Here's one, please.
Who's that?
Typhoon.
Typhoon. Was Typhoon from Raleigh, right?
I think they were out of Chapel Hill, maybe.
Something like that. Yeah.
But they had a real record out on a real label.
They had a real record out.
And another group that and there was a lot of excitement. But nothing
ever happened for artists from North Carolina for some reason. Even like when Little Brother, everybody in North Carolina loved Little Brother, but for some reason when they had the major deal, it just wasn't there. But you can't tell me that they're not one of the dopest groups ever in hip hop.
Hell yes.
Well, they came up in the first episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought them back up because all I talked about in the first episode was the early days. Mm-hmm. But when you talk about how dope they got on their major label run, they did get the critical acclaim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's like the support wasn't there. Like I think the people who claim to be supporters of Little Brother should have stepped up more for that Little Brother album. Like Little Brother could have really opened the doors for North Carolina if the support was there for them. I think a lot of people. I'll put it to you like this: I feel like a lot more people champion J. Cole now than they did for Little Brother then. But I think Little Brother could have been as big as J. Cole.
Right. Well, I got a question. The first time we brought up Little Brother, I was talking about how I just couldn't even get my hands on the record back in the day.
Well, see, the original album was on ABB. That was an independent label. I want to say they're from the West Coast because the same label had signed artists like Dilated People. Maybe DeFar, I can't remember. It was an underground hip hop label.
I remember the label.
Hold on, guys.
Somebody trying to steal Flea's rims. He'll be right back.
Yeah. And listen, so it is like it's common that people from in hip hop anyway, they get signed in North Carolina, and then kind of like nothing happens. But I always think of it like this, and I always want to ask the question.
I'm back,
and I do be asking the question. Like how does it happen? Like if you get signed for $500, $1,000, $50,000, and then you are expected to work basically this job. I know I remember my first job when they hired me. They told me how much I was gonna get paid.
Right.
Then they showed me how I was gonna earn that paycheck.
Right.
You know, and I hear people nowadays talk about it's no artist development and all that stuff. So that makes me kind of believe back in the day that stuff was offered, whether people took advantage of it or not. It was offered, and I'm like, but it was like you got a uniform to go to work.
Like, see, here's the problem with developing hip hop artists is for a long time you didn't have anybody to train hip hop artists because it was such a new art form.
Okay, so aside from that, like I respect that, but I'm just talking about the work of it.
The work of it. Now, the development aspect still needs to happen, and a lot of A&Rs complain about how easy it is to find talent, but how hard it is to develop it. Because we're in an era right now where you can sit in your room and create a wonderful masterpiece, but you never performed it in front of anybody.
Right.
And back in the day, you would cut your chops out there on the road in front of people. And now you cut your chops in your bedroom, in the closet.
Right. Right. But, but this trend that we talking about North Carolina artists not getting signed and then nothing happen, like this ain't new. This is before we got all technology driven. Right. And that's why I asked the question, because I'm thinking about like we were having a conversation. I can't remember who we were talking about. Maybe it was Little Brother, and I think it was another group from Eastern North Carolina or something. And you didn't know who I was asking you about. Right. And I was like, damn, so maybe they not working as hard as I've been giving them credit for. Because if I think they this hot and they this hot in this part of North Carolina, but on this part of North Carolina don't nobody know who they are, they ain't working hard enough.
No. They're not working hard enough.
And that's why I always ask the question, like, what is it that North Carolina is missing? Because everybody, and it's like it's the only common thing amongst all those answers is it always goes back to we don't support each other. But I'm like, I don't know. I just look at it different. And I have another question that I want to know an answer to is the percentage of those artists who get those major deal looks. How many of them are actually still making a living off hip hop or, rap?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because, bro, I was in a couple places and I would meet some kids and that's all they did was rap. Like, they go do shows, they travel probably 6 months out of the year, but they make like $35,000, $40,000, but everything else paid for. Whew.
Yeah.
And my point in asking the question about what's missing is because, like I said a minute ago, it's like for research, because I actually want to know, because I consider myself an artist in North Carolina, not specifically hip hop, but I just look around in North Carolina and see all the talent around North Carolina. Like, I look across the table, I see talent. I hear JFlex moving in the background. I hear, talent. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just talent everywhere. Like, it's a reason North Carolina ain't where it should be, and I don't know.
Well, please, you got an answer for all that?
Why is North Carolina not where it should be?
Yep.
I don't have a true answer.
Or what's missing?
I just believe the state's been overlooked, like, for years. Like, let's think about it. The last decade, you've had, even in the early 2000s, Virginia was a growing part of hip hop, and then you went to Georgia, and Georgia was a growing part of hip hop, but South Carolina and North Carolina was never looked at.
You know what I think the problem is, Flex? We keep giving the country one artist at a time.
I mean that's true. We also never had a producer like Ski, he blew up as a producer and came home and tried to do something, but he didn't do what Teddy Riley did for Virginia.
Right.
You know what else? That goes back to something we talked about in the first episode. Is that a producer coming to the area and getting it jumping provides that area with a sound. You know?
Yes.
Like, you know, it takes a sound. And I've always said that's what's missing for North Carolina. We don't have a uniform sound. So we can give you a hit, but it takes that one producer. If everybody was on Ski Beats, then we would have a sound by default. It'd be the sound of Ski Beats. If everybody was on Ninth Wonder Beats, the North Carolina sound would be the sound of Ninth Wonder. But, you know, and personally, whoever, like Jetson, and once the baby started jumping off, I'd be like, Jetson, you can make another one for me. Because anybody from North Carolina, if you're trying to blow, you need to be on Jetson Beats, right? Doesn't that make sense? He's the sound of the baby. The baby is very associated with Charlotte. People can't help but think Charlotte when they think the baby. So if I was making music right now and I had to invest my money anywhere, I would invest my money with the producer that made the sound of Lil Baby, of the baby.
Right, the baby.
Right. Jetson made another one.
Mm-hmm.
You can even look at his catalog and see what he's actually done for other artists outside the baby.
Right.
He had the big hit with Jack Harlow. That's Jetson on the beat.
The white
was popping.
You got to
pay
attention to what he's doing.
Right, but see, the thing is, though, that went to Jack Harlow, and that should have gone to Stunner for Vegas or one of them other cats down there. And that could have been us on that beat. Because it's not.
I'm pretty sure Stunner got joints from him, though.
Oh, yeah. He's been on those beats. And that was a bad example because he's doing it. Stunner for Vegas is taking advantage of the work that the baby has done already. I mean,
I don't know how many people outside their camp are using DJ Kid, because DJ Kid is a producer too. He's the baby's DJ. He also produced the intro, which was a big song for the baby.
Right, and it has a unique sound too.
I don't know any producers from North Carolina that are getting their shine enough. I also want to mention a couple other artists. Gab
is getting his shine a little bit. Yeah.
No, Gab got that old soul. Gab been doing music for years. His ears are impeccable.
Oh yeah.
So I want to big up the DJ E-Sud, because he has an artist named Sauce Pack from Winston.
Word, E-Sud. I ain't seen E-Sud in a minute. That's what's up.
And Wale got an artist from Winston named Woo Two Times.
What's the name again?
Woo Two Times.
Oh, he had a song out. It was one of them dances, wasn't it? Whoa.
Now, Woo got a song. What's the name of it?
I remember that. I remember that name. I got some of that music on my Serato.
He got a song called I Don't Know. It's called IDK, but it's called I Don't Know.
IDK, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I got that right.
From Winston. They also young people, so they got time to grow. But Sauce is really doing a lot of stuff. You see him all over the place with E-Sud. E-Sud take him everywhere. So Sauce is getting a lot of shine and learning a lot on the road right now. He's recording a lot too. He's recording a whole lot.
A lot of people didn't know B.O.B. was from Winston-Salem too.
Yeah, B.O.B. is from Winston-Salem.
The Trey Foe represent.
Trey.
Corday was born from Raleigh.
Oh, did not know that.
He moved from Raleigh when he was 13 to D.C.
Word.
His mom used to record in Raleigh. She used to sing, I think.
Yeah, Raleigh, man. Now that I've been in the Durham area, Raleigh has some people out here doing the thing in Raleigh.
But I think
Raleigh
producers like Skaz should be on.
Oh yeah, yep.
Like big up to my man, big up to Crisis. Crisis be making dope beats.
Right.
There's a lot of producers in North Carolina I like. I just think they need to get that They need to get that one good look, and maybe we get something going. Because I think it's more than just the artist. I think for area to get on, like I think you need the whole package.
The
You need
close,
producers and artists.
the closest we ever came to a sound was, for me, the run that happened after Colonel Loud and Luke Nasty. To me, what they were doing was defining the North Carolina sound, and that sound was made up of soulful R&B samples.
The world took that sound after they did that.
Yep.
Yeah, you're right. They did, but
the world took that sound and ran with it.
And they don't get no props for it.
Yeah.
Oh no, they're never gonna get credit for it.
Nope.
Yeah, and it came to a head when Lil Duval Smile.
Come on now,
That was Lil Duval Smile was because of California. If that song hadn't worked, I don't think Smile would have happened.
You absolutely
know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's the sound that we were building here in North Carolina.
And he took it and made it a joke.
And it got so big that it's over. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Sometimes, and the problem is, the biggest song of the sound came from somebody else. We didn't get to take advantage of. Like Flex said, they robbed us. Hey, that was most profound, JFlex.
I mean, it's the truth though. Like the first person never wins. Like if you create something that can be taken by somebody else.
Oh, it will be taken.
Stop it. Huh?
It will be taken.
Yes.
You know how many remixes I sent in with samples on them, and they just came back any old kind of way except for with my name on it.
I mean, that's the truth. Like it's not fair, but that's just how it is. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I learned my lesson.
Like,
you gotta know somebody to be able to keep a sample.
Oh nah. Nah, you put a sample out there, like you might see you be the only person to have it. Trust me, somebody else got it, and they're gonna use it the same way you use it.
Yeah, I learned. I ain't even like, I used to get salty. I was like, man, no reason to even bother getting salty about that. That's just the game. Chalk it up.
If we could get some of our producers out here, like I like producers like LaFell, I like Top House Studios, I like what's that dude? Trick. It's a dude in Charlotte named Trick something. He's really dope though. But I think Meek Mill's supposed to get a beat from him, but I don't think it's gonna happen or something. Then you got, come on man, you got Crisis on them, Justice League down there. Like they're so dope.
See, I'm glad we reached out to you, Fleas, because we missed a lot of this.
We got a lot of producers in North Carolina that I think need to get the right shine on them. It's just like, if you think of North Carolina producers, the first thing people gonna say to you is Knife Wonder. But
right.
Knife Wonder got a whole camp of producers.
Oh, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Like Crisis comes from that camp.
Okay.
I know there's a couple other dudes over there, I believe. I just don't know if they got their shine yet. You know what I'm saying? But I know some producers in Charlotte. I know it's probably some producers in some small town that just hasn't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah.
But it's hard, man. Like to get recognized. A lot of people run to me and think radio is the first place they need to go, but it's not true. You need to actually get your feet wet before you come see me. Me just playing your record, it doesn't always do what you think it's gonna do for you.
So I keep hearing people say, and my interest in radio is because I do a radio show in Raleigh on 93.5. It's a local radio station. But do you think that radio is dying?
I mean, it's slowly dying because of streaming. People been able to listen to where they want to at any time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how far it's gonna go, but
Yeah.
you definitely see the effects of it. People like I've noticed years ago, people don't call radio stations like they used to.
Mm-hmm.
They call because they want something, they want to win something or something of that nature. They don't really call like they want to request a song, because they can go listen to the song anytime they want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's say really want to call you. Like, if they can relate to the personality that's on the radio, they might call them. You know what I'm saying? But like, you don't get as many calls for requests like you used to. Like the lines to blow up requests all day.
Right. Phones,
but,
man. The internet.
Yeah, the internet makes anything available to you at any time.
Right.
Like at any time. And then if you're a kid, you don't have to hear the radio edit like you're supposed to. Like, you can just go to YouTube and hear the song. You're gonna hear it in its glory. But
yeah, that means something to some people.
Mm-hmm.
That means something to some people.
Yeah.
Right.
Hearing it the way the artist intended.
Right. It's crazy.
And I feel like, radio edits, you don't, like, we don't have video shows anymore on TV that you're going to hear the radio edit. Sometimes people don't even know what a dirty song sounds like. Back in the day, they didn't know what a dirty song sounded like. Nowadays, you know the dirty song before you hear the clean song.
Yeah, and the clean sounds odd.
Yeah. And then the label is trying to make the clean sound as much like the dirty as possible.
As much as possible.
Like, edits are real edgy nowadays on certain radio stations, not all radio stations.
102 Jams has no filter.
Oh, nah, no filter at all.
Yeah.
we try to let everything go.
Yeah, man. Y'all gets it in. That's one thing I know.
Put it in your mouth 96 times a week.
Yeah, people don't remember those days, Cap.
God.
Things you could get away with.
Big on the Akinelli. Akinelli has an artist from North Carolina.
Does he?
Okay.
Yeah. I actually got to sit down and eat dinner with Akinelli, Cap.
How long ago was this?
Right before the pandemic.
Okay, please. So, back to what we were talking about why some artists don't blow up. And there's been a long list of people, and we didn't even, we just barely skimmed over the surface.
Right.
Like, we talked about Omniscience, major label, Brandon D, major label. Earlier today, we were talking about Hot Right. We didn't mention him, right?
No. Forgot about him.
Let me see. Sunshine Anderson.
Yeah, she went gold, didn't she?
Well, yeah, I guess her thing kind of worked out.
Right.
She was she able to come back with a second album though?
I don't. She probably. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna assume that she had a second album. Was. But
because what she had what was the first single?
Heard It All Before.
And then she had Lunch and Dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Was the second single that didn't do as well as Heard It All Before. And
Yep, she put out 3 albums.
Same label.
She put out 3 albums on Atlantic.
Nope, just one on Atlantic,
right.
One on Music World, and most recently on Verb 10 years ago, 2010.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I thought Sunshine was dope.
Yep, the impact of that first song, you thought she was going to go super far. There's no arguing that Fantasia is still moving. Like her,
right.
She never stopped.
Right.
It
seems like that song.
We have Southern soul artists in the area and gospel artists that are huge.
J Red, shout out J Red, man.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, I don't think that music is.
Yeah, J Red.
Right.
J Red from North Carolina?
Yeah.
I did not know that, but that's an artist that I've actually tracked on my job.
Oh wow.
Did you know that Casey and JoJo got a brother named Librado? You ever heard Librado? One of the most dopest songs you could play at a Southern Soul joint is a song called Fire by Librado. And that's Casey and JoJo's brother.
Wow.
Nah, I never knew that.
Older or younger?
I have no idea. Probably younger, I'm guessing.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yep. And you know, like I said, that's a staple on the set right there, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Librado's a big deal.
Anthony Hamilton.
Anthony Hamilton is still strong. You know, but
think?
it's those people that have artists around them, like the Hamiltons.
Have they always been around him?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay.
I mean, they've been his backup singers for some years, but I remember, you know, Anthony Hamilton in the days of when Mark Sparks was working with this guy from Charlotte that could sing. And I was like, whoa, it was some of the most amazing, like his voice, when I heard it, I was like, man, this dude's incredible. And then he got a record deal that wasn't the one that blew him up. Like he got signed, I forgot the label, but he got signed and it didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
And he
Right.
came back again.
Right.
As the Anthony Hamilton that you know today.
Right.
But you know, it took a couple of tries.
Mm-hmm. What? Yeah. His is.
And that's just because I think it worked out the second time because he had the white people around him at the time.
Right.
He was doing more of what he wanted to do.
I think it's about your team, man. You got to have a good team.
Yeah, he
around.
definitely had a good team around him.
Right.
Shout out Eli.
You can't do this by yourself.
Yeah, so yeah, we got scores of people, man, that have gotten their foot in the door and we thought it was about to happen for everybody and just didn't, you know. My brother.
You got to be willing. You got to be
Yeah.
willing to grow. You got to be willing to be able to take criticism. Some people just want to go. Like, they think they already made it, and they haven't.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
You know something? That's one of the unspoken things is that we've seen a lot of artists, you know, they get that foot in the door and they think they're already there.
Mm-hmm.
And they stop working and start
Now, once you get in
eating.
that door, you got to work harder.
Right. That's
You
what
know?
Yeah.
They eat on the first sign of success. They start eating and forget about working. And I've seen that. Haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You know? Like you see somebody, you know, you watch them work hard and grind for 2-3 years straight. Then they get a song that's popping.
Right.
And,
They stop.
you know, they enjoy the attention that the song has provided.
Mm-hmm.
But they haven't really achieved the success that was the end game from the beginning. But they get blinded by the attention, and the attention takes you off the work. Like it's hard to that little period of time from when you start to become known to the time that you actually experience real financial success is a dangerous time.
Right.
Because everybody from the time you become known, every person that enters your life is taking you away from the work that you need to be doing.
Right.
And usually offering nothing.
In return.
They're just time vultures. They want to be down with you.
Yeah.
So they're riding you as you flame out. Because you should be writing more songs.
Right.
Should be
Working.
in the studio.
Working.
But you can't lead a club because, drinks on everybody else. Because they want to be seen with the dude with the hot song.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everything's free. Now you too drunk to do what you were supposed to do.
Right.
I'm serious. This is what happens.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm
I've
saying?
seen it
And it
firsthand,
turns
yeah.
into an everyday cycle. Before
Right.
you know it, months go by and everybody's like, yo, man, what's up? You got another joint? Man, we've been in the studio working, you know. I'm gonna hit you when it's done. We working
Still in the
right
club.
now. Working right now.
Right.
And nothing ever happens. And labels You know, a lot of times you get that first deal, they expect the results.
Absolutely.
And when you start working, you know, dudes don't come home and talk about it, but a lot of them met that fate.
Of course, they're not gonna say that.
No, they're not gonna say that. You know what I'm saying, man? Man, foot label, man. They tripping, man. They weren't pushing my stuff. You know what I'm saying? Well, they also gave you $150,000 to do an album,
Right.
and you was out here buying bottles of Moet at the club price
It's crazy.
for everybody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Instead of investing in your album. Then it came time to shoot that video, and they shot it on their dime because you already spent the advance drinking, taking everybody to the strip club, and that Mercedes you bought to drive around. And that's how it happens. Now you ain't got no product to show.
How you make music.
And I'm not saying that happened to everybody, but that happened to somebody.
It's
You
gotta
know.
be.
So, yeah, but it's a lot of things that happen, man. And sometimes the record labels too. There was a period of time where they would get an artist from North Carolina and they want to mold him into not from North Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I know a lot of artists had to deal with that too.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so we're not gonna discount that either. You understand what I'm saying, there, Flex?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you got a person from North Carolina. There was a time where, you know, hip hop, the major labels could only imagine hip hop from New York and LA. You see what I'm saying? And to them, everything in between was poisonous. So even artists from in between were forced to bend to one sound or the other. And you weren't allowed to be your full self. You know?
Right.
That's why the Ghetto Boys are so important. My Mind Playing Tricks on Me, it banged anyway. It's the kind of song that no major label would have touched.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
Right.
then they found out that, oh, you ain't got to be from New York or sound like you from New York. But, you know, a lot of people dealt with that stigma for a long time. Just not being from the right place puts your product on the shelf sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's an unwritten thing. People have biases, and that you fighting people's bias just being at one time just being from North Carolina. It's not like that anymore because now the industry is open to the possibility that there's talent everywhere, and they don't really care anymore. But
Right.
at one time, it mattered. You know what I'm saying, Flex?
Yep.
It really mattered in music.
Right.
So yeah, a lot of people got caught out there, man.
But it's still a lot missing if because of the amount of talent and just looking at the amount of people that we can name off the top of our heads that might be next. I don't know. I just think it's a lot. It's a lot. It seems like it's lopsided for some reason. To get back to my question, what's missing? Because everybody got access to the same quote unquote thing now, which is the internet, to self promote and things of that nature. So
Yeah. Well, to do this without major label support, you have to have full support of the entire community.
yes, because
And-
a long time, like 10 years ago, I was having a conversation with a gentleman similar to yourself, a hip hop, North Carolina hip hop historian, and he made the statement that North Carolina consumes during that time in the top 5 areas or states that consumes music. Like that includes going to shows and buying CDs, tapes, downloads, or whatever was available during that time. And I was like, just imagine if those dollars turn backwards.
Right. And in places like, let's compare us to a Memphis, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
where an artist can be really popular in Memphis and make $1 million.
Right.
You can't do that here.
No,
And
I haven't
that-
seen it.
That's, you know, so that's another problem here is we don't have the market to support, you know, even as big as the baby was, You know, it wasn't because Charlotte made him $1 million first. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
He was good, and he pushed it. He's been pushing. He's been on a national push for a while.
Yeah, he has.
He is still a local artist by all means, but
Right.
but he's been on a national push for a long time. His end game has always been national.
Mm-hmm.
And I think Charlotte might be a place that could support that type of artist though. If one decided, you could have a NBA young boy in Charlotte. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I really do think that they have the numbers and the community, and if everybody could get on one person, it could happen. Grassroots. Like Raleigh and Durham and like everybody here together. All these cities are big on their own. Charlotte is the biggest thing in the area, so even the smaller places defer to Charlotte. Right. Here in this area, Chapel Hill doesn't defer to Raleigh.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or Durham.
Right.
Everybody, they got their own business. They're all here together, though. So one community that's supporting in Raleigh is necessarily going to bring Durham on. Just,
right.
The same way that if you repping in Charlotte, Monroe, Shelby, Ballantyne, all that is Statesville. All that's going to get wrapped up in that in a different way. So, yeah, I think it could happen one day. And that time is coming, man. The way this area is growing.
Right.
Like these
the number
places.
of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. These
that's
large
key.
urban centers.
Right.
Create those types of opportunities. So it's just a matter of time.
Right. And the population of the state been growing the whole time.
Yep.
Yeah, every day now. Seem like.
Hey Flex, we appreciate you joining us, man. You want to give out any social media accounts for the people?
Instagram, Twitter, DJ JFlex. You can hit me there. That's about it, I guess.
All right, and you are still on 102 Jams and can be heard
every day,
every
Monday
single
Friday.
day.
All right.
There it
12
is.
and 5, and on Friday nights you can catch me at 10.
Right on. Damn, all week long, boy. They working them
Yeah,
to death.
I play everything. I try to.
Yes, indeed. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. It's Capital City. I'm Capital J, and
this is DL Glass.